it's difficult. The only part I just feel that the players like Rodri, he is the face for the players for now. I'm not saying he's the one being appointed by other players to speak on their behalf. Deducting from what is said, I think is a bit delusional to think most players are playing 50 to 60 games like him. No, 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 no. Most players are not playing for Man City. They're not playing for Arsenal, right? There are 20 clubs in England. There are 10 clubs in Spain. Welcome and welcome to the presence. Do me that kind favor, strike the like button as you come into this to the pre-recorded content. Strike the like button. Subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and make sure you turn on your notification bell. One more time, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. I'm sure you guys have heard the exchange when Rodri was asked during the Champions League pre-match press conference about the fixture congestion, and he's had a lot to say. I'm paraphrasing that there are too many matches, and the players, quote unquote, passively might consider a strike action. I think that's extremely delusional from Rodri to think that players can unanimously call a strike action because, number one, even though I'm not trying to support the club owners or UEFA or FIFA, number one, you cannot call a strike action when most of the players are not playing the 50 to 60 or 70 matches number that is being pushed out there. Now, maybe 7 to 10% of players play those number of matches, 50 plus matches, because they play in the Champions League, they play in their league, they play in their domestic cups, and they play internationally. But most players are not playing 50 to 60 matches because most players are not top players. So that part of the argument is not sensible. On the flip side, we want to watch the top players, right? So even though there's a small number of top players playing 50 or 60 games, but those are the players the fans want to watch. You want to go to Real Madrid, the Man City players, the Arsenal players, the Barcelona players. Those are the same players we want to watch. So, but those players command the most wages too. So if you are commanding those high wages, you can't technically be complaining about fixture congestions. Now, I can understand the part of the fact that this needless, in my personal opinion, Nations League nonsense they are doing in the international football. I can understand that. But when it comes to the league, the new Champions League format, they have to play more games. The Carling Cup, which is the Carabao Cup, domestic cups in different leagues. I can understand the top players are going to play a lot of games. But to whom much is given, much is expected. So these top players command huge wages, huge transfer fees, huge revenues to actually maintain and sustain them. So both parties have to find a way to reach a compromise. Now, let's listen to what Simon Jordan had to say regarding the fact that Rodri is out of touch, which I passively agree with.
Given that the main beneficiaries of the increased opportunities in football have been the players, and most of the money in the room is going towards the players.
Which I agree.
What's your solution then? We're talking about 5% of players that play in elite football clubs, that play for elite countries, that select playing for clubs that are in Champions Leagues, that take the benefits of the economic returns, which aren't the only definer, I grant, but it is the big commodity in football.
Sure.
Given that the 80 to 90% of that money comes in and goes to the protagonists, what's your solution then to the fact that the football industry is trying to create revenue to keep up with the necessity of what footballers cost to buy and to service?
You can see the players who are complaining about this, which are the top players, which is say 5%, who I think is slightly more than 5%, in my personal opinion. So we have to check to verify the authenticity of the percentage of players who play these 50 to 60, 70 games per season, who are the top players. But those are the players with the high wages, right? And those are players we want to see. As much as the players have a right that, there are too many matches we are playing, and to keep up at that high level, if you want to see us perform at the high level, you have to bring it down. On the flip side, the club owners or the federation are looking at that from perspective of, well, you guys are commanding these high wages. We need more matches to bring more revenue so we can pay you the huge transfer fees you guys command and the high wages you command. So looking at it objectively is a conversation that both parties have to sit down and lay all the cards on the table and have a frank conversation. I see the sides of the players health-wise, the longevity of their career, the quality we expect from them week in, week out. If you want to maintain that quality, they have to have a bit of rest so they can recuperate properly. But you need more matches to bring in more revenues, to bring in more sponsors, to be able to maintain the mechanics of paying these players and maintain a standard. So it's a catch-22. But I think the players have to understand that most players are not at their level. So for them to lead this conversation is a little bit hypocritical, because it's a different thing if most of the players were playing 50 to 60 to 70 games. Then it can be a fair conversation, and I can understand this quote unquote passive proposition of strike. But if it's just 5 to 10%, that is not a fair representation of the players' union or players' federation. So that's a bit very selfish from the top players, which RODRI might be their mouthpiece. Like I said, might be their mouthpiece. And on the other side, the federations too, they are bringing too many competitions, right? And the players deserve it as much as the players are demanding these huge wages and transfer fee. But the club owners can decide to regulate itself and refuse. We're not going to pay more than a certain level. No matter what the demands of the players, the club owners and the federations have the right to push back that this is what we can afford. So both parties, both the players, the federations and the clubs, have a fair point in this fixture congestion conversation. It's difficult. The only part I just feel that the players like RODRI, he is the face for the players for now. I'm not saying he's the one being appointed by other players to speak on their behalf. Deducting from what is said, I think is a bit delusional to think most players are playing 50 to 60 games like him. No. Most players are not playing for Man City. They're not playing for Arsenal, right? There are 20 clubs in England. There are 10 clubs in Spain. And most of those players are not playing those insane number of games. It's just a select few. So a select few cannot represent the minority. That is where Roddy's argument is not as watertight. But the other part of Roddy's argument I actually stand for is that if you want to see the high quality players to provide high quality performances, we need to see the high quality players have a bit of rest, more rest, so they can enjoy football at an elite level, at the excellence level of what we need. So let's see if both parties can reach a compromise from the players and from the club owners and from the football federation. So let's see what compromise they can reach. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you on the side of the players, or are you on the side of the federation or the clubs, or do you think the clubs are getting exceedingly greedy? Let me know what you think regarding this conversation regarding fixtures congestion. Let me know what you think. Like the video on your way out, very, very important. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I appreciate that. And make sure you turn on your notification. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.